I was sitting in the park, hands shaking as I held a crumpled cup of cold coffee, watching people go by, so many of them so oblivious to what was happening around them. But I had nothing left. No one to talk to, and no way to pull myself out of the hole I dug so deep. That's when he walked up to me and asked, "Are you Sophia?" Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and tell us where you're listening. Your support means everything. The question made me freeze, and for a moment I thought maybe I was dreaming. It had been a long time since anyone had spoken to me like I mattered. Hell, it had been a long time since I even felt like I mattered. I remember the day everything started unraveling. It feels like a scene from a bad movie where you can see it all coming, but you can't stop it. My ex-husband, Ryan, had been a charming man when we first met. Smart, funny, ambitious. But over the years, he'd become more distant, and I'd become more desperate. Our marriage was nothing like the fairy tale I had imagined, and soon it had fallen apart in a way that felt almost surreal. It was the little things that destroyed it. The broken promises, the lies that piled up. I found out about his affair with a coworker after a casual glance at his phone, an accidental glance, if you want to be technical. But once I saw the texts, the pictures, I knew it was all over. Divorce wasn't just a legal process for us. It was a full-blown battle. Ryan fought me tooth and nail, trying to keep everything he could, from the house to the investments. But I fought back. And I lost out by the time the divorce was finalized. I had no money left, no assets. Just debt and a weight that crushed me every time I thought about it. Ryan moved on easily, of course. He'd already been living with his new girlfriend before the ink on our divorce papers was dry. Me? I had nowhere to go. So I ended up on the streets. I didn't want to be homeless, but that was the reality. There was no family to turn to. My parents were long gone, and I had no friends who could offer me a place to stay. I thought about calling my sister, but I couldn't bear to tell her how far I had fallen. I took up residence in the park, somewhere I felt I could hide. I slept on a bench, wrapped in old jackets I found in a thrift store, and spent my days begging for spare change. I don't remember how long it took before I just stopped caring. It was easier not to care. The people in the park were like ghosts passing through, never noticing you, and that was fine by me. At least I didn't have to explain myself or how I got here, but life doesn't just stop, does it? Not even when you're at your lowest. It was a Thursday when I met the stranger. I remember it because the weather was finally getting warmer. The sun actually felt like it was doing something for once. I was sitting by the fountain, eyes closed, trying to ignore the ache in my stomach. People walked by, some glancing at me, some ignoring me as usual. And then he came. He was dressed in a sharp blue suit, the kind that made him stand out in the sea of park goers. He had a briefcase in one hand, and I swear, it looked like he didn't belong here at all. He approached me slowly, like he was trying to figure something out. "Excuse me, are you Sophia?" His voice was soft, almost cautious. I looked up at him, trying to gather myself. "Yeah, who wants to know?" He didn't seem like he was trying to hurt me or make me feel smaller than I already did. He seemed puzzled. "I'm sorry to bother you, but I was told to find you." "I'm David. I work with a law firm." I frowned. "A law firm?" "Look, I don't know what kind of scam this is, but no, nothing like that." He cut me off. "You're Sophia Edwards, right?" I nodded, confused. "Yeah, I am." "What's this about?" David pulled out an envelope from his briefcase, handing it to me. It was heavy, sealed with wax. "You've inherited something," he said, the words coming out slowly like he wasn't sure how to break it to me. $47 million. I blinked at him, trying to process. "What? Inherited what?" "Who? Your aunt," he explained. "Veronica Edwards." She passed away recently and left everything to you. My head was spinning. I didn't have an aunt named Veronica, or at least I didn't think I did. My family tree was a little messy, but I knew most of the branches. Who is this woman, and why hadn't I heard from her? David continued. It's all in the documents. I know this is a lot to take in, but you need to come with me to the office. We need to get everything sorted. I shook my head. This doesn't make sense. I don't know any Veronica Edwards. I don't understand. Are you sure you've got the right person? David paused, looking at me with a mixture of concern and confusion. You're Sophia Edwards, right? 42, born in Chicago? Yes, but I trailed off, still not understanding. My mind was a mess of thoughts, trying to connect dots that didn't make sense. Can you show me your ID? David asked gently. I handed him my wallet, the one I'd scavenged from a thrift shop. He glanced at it quickly, nodding. This is you, he said, almost like he was trying to reassure me. Your aunt knew about your situation. She wanted to make sure you'd be taken care of. I couldn't believe it. $47 million? Was this some sort of prank? The car ride to the law firm was a blur. I kept staring out the window, trying to make sense of what was happening. I had no family to speak of, no wealth. And now some stranger was telling me I'd just inherited millions. It didn't make sense. When we arrived at the firm, David led me inside, his pace quickening as we walked through the sleek, shiny building. He led me to a conference room, where I was handed papers I couldn't even begin to read. I just kept staring at the number at the top of the page. $47 million. You're the beneficiary of your aunt's estate, David explained. She left you everything. This is yours now. I don't get it. Who was she? I asked, still in disbelief. She was a private person, David said. But she knew about your struggles. She wanted to make sure you were okay. It felt surreal. It felt like I was living someone else's life. Like I was watching all of this happen from a distance, but as I looked down at the papers, my heart started to race. This was real. This was happening. David gave me some time to process, and over the next few days, everything changed. I moved out of the park. I found a place to stay, a small apartment in the city. The money didn't just fix everything, but it gave me the stability I desperately needed. As for my ex-husband, Ryan, well, he came sniffing around when he found out. He even tried to claim some of the inheritance, but that didn't work out for him. It felt like the final punch of justice, like everything had come full circle. The most important thing I learned from this, though, it wasn't the money or the sudden change in my circumstances. It was realizing that life can turn around in ways you never expect. One moment you're on the streets with no hope left, and the next you're standing in a law firm, inheriting millions. And maybe that's the most surprising part of all. Just when you think it's over, life has a way of giving you a second chance. It's a lesson I'll never forget.